The EY Experience Podcast.
Hello, I'm Peter Doyle, the People Lead for the consultancy business, and welcome to the EY Experience Podcast. People are at the heart of EY. We hire curious people with a variety of skills from diverse backgrounds to help solve some of the world's toughest challenges. From career growth to our innovation culture, this podcast series will let you hear at first hand, what our people say about their experience with EY. So, want to know more around the transformation of how to transform a business and harness the latest technology to power innovation? Well, in this podcast series, we're joined by three members of our technology consultancy team, and I'd love to give a warm welcome to Carmine, Killian, and Delphine. It's great to have you to join us today. I guess by way of introduction, Carmine, do you want to introduce yourself first and give us an indication of your role, your experience, and when you joined EY?
Yeah, thank you, Peter. So basically, I am a IT project manager. So as IT project manager, what I do, like a normal project manager, I do the planning, allocation of resources, and I do the performance and the control of the budget of the project. However, because I am IT project manager, my projects are always IT projects. So basically, they are migrations, they are interfaces, web portals, or deployment of applications. So when I do planning, what I do basically is more sprint planning. So we work in Agile and we work in interactions. When I control the performance of the team, I do invert down charts, and my resources are more or less in hours. So previously to join EY, I was developing software and doing applications. And that was my background and my experience. I also have done a few business projects as well. And I joined EY in 2018.
And what about yourself, Delphine?
I joined EY almost 7 years ago, but in France, where I was part of the financial services and dedicated to digital transformation and innovation. Then I joined the EMEA Blockchain Hub, mainly focused on supporting our financial services clients, understanding how blockchain could impact the business model and how they can leverage this technology. And 2 months ago, I joined the Dublin office and integrated the technology team. So I'm mainly dedicated on helping organization in their technology transformation and identify all the technology they can use or leverage to enable this transformation. And I'm also a manager within this team.
Thanks. I'm Killian, yourself.
Thanks, Peter. So, hi, everyone. My name is Killian Leonovich. I'm a director in technology consulting. I am the lead in Ireland for digital customer and for blockchain. I joined EY in January of this year, and previous to that, I spent most of my career in Big Four. So, previous to this, I would have headed up an EMEA role as the blockchain lead for another Big Four firm, as mentioned. Prior to that, I worked in the software industry, worked for a big organization who sold middle and back office solutions to big financial organizations. I was based in Singapore as part of that. Previous to that, I was in London. Prior to that, I was in Boston. So all over the world, primarily focused on innovation these days.
And I guess, Killian, since you're the latest into the business, what was it that initially attracted you to EY and a career in tech consulting within EY?
Yeah, so I suppose the thing that attracted me most was probably the level of ambition in the organization and the fact that the organization had really put its money where its mouth was in terms of blockchain technology. So that, for me, has been a big focus. The global lead for blockchain technology in EY is a guy called Paul Brody, a partner based in the US, and he was always of the view, and it was pushed from the firm, that we wanted to be focused on the development of public blockchains, of creating these decentralized networks. And for me, that was a huge focus, because instead of building proprietary solutions, I really like this idea of contributing, developing open source tech, and really building the future through that. And I think with the opportunity here in the local firm, with the ambitious growth plans, the requirements that we had in terms of developing and growing a business, that was really my focus. So that was probably why I joined. But delighted to be here. I made the right choice, no doubt about it.
And Carmine, what about yourself?
Well, the first time I thought about EY, it was about the size of the customers or the clients that EY has. They are multinational companies. The projects are big projects, are complex projects. So that was a big attraction for me. And then they had a project at that stage for an Irish bank. And it was provide the core banking application needed to be modernized for the open banking services. And it was quite an attractive project. So that was the particular project that decided me to join EY. And then other of the things that once I did the interviews, realized that was quite a good team of people with a different background and with a lot of experience coming from another organization in technology that will be contribute to my develop as a person, as a professional. So that was the main things that decided me to join EY.
And Delphine, it's going to be a bit of a history test for you to go back 7 years to, what attracted you to EY at that time.
First of all, I totally agree with what Killian says on blockchain and how EY is amazing in this field. We are not only advising our client on how applying blockchain, but we also do apply blockchain inside and internally at EY in insurance and audit services. And also why I decided to stay at EY, it's because it's a really supportive company. Anytime you have an idea, you want to innovate, you will always find support within the company. And it's all the more true when it comes to technology. I experience it with blockchain because back in 2017, I would say speaking about blockchain at EY, everyone was associated blockchain with Bitcoin. But I found that all the senior management was really supportive and really wanted to understand what was behind blockchain and how we could apply it and advise it to our clients. And more personally, I decided to move to Ireland because my husband was transferred full time in Dublin for his work, and I would say EY was really supportive in this transfer. It was really easy, and everyone really supported me to find the best place and the best team in Dublin.
And Delphine, what's the best thing about working in technology?
I would say is meeting incredible people and it changes a lot every day. It's really interesting and it's really challenging, even more when you are working in blockchain, because it's you every time you spend so much time to explain how the technology works and that blockchain is not Bitcoin. But I would say during the last 2 years I had a tremendous and so interesting discussion with my client, and that's I think the most interesting in technology.
I find it fascinating sitting here watching this. It's like every time you mention the word blockchain, Killian actually gets excited. He nods his head and there's like a grin on his face like it's Christmas Day. Killian, for you, what is it about working in technology that you love?
I think there's probably two pieces. I think I love design and innovation. So I love writing things down, drawing them out, thinking of new value chains, thinking of new ways to do things, and then actually seeing it come to life in the technology, and then ultimately making someone's life easier or being able to create a new service or a new proposition. That's what I love about it. It's the bringing it to life piece, from concept right through to idea, strategy, and enabling a business for its future, and then to, as I say, just the actual deployment of it. That's probably for me the biggest buzz of it. Yeah.
What about you, Carmine?
Well, I think they already mentioned is the innovation, but I would say is the people itself, because the profile of people in technology is people that have big curiosity and they are always bringing ideas and how to make effective those ideas. So when you are in EY, in our teams, always you are exposed to people from different background and a different part of the technology, network, databases, and all of them are thinking out of the box, how you use the skills just to solve problems and improve things and do things in different ways. So you are in an organization that is always thinking what can be improved. So they are inspectioning things and saying, okay, what we can do in different ways using the technology out there. So I think that is a big thing that I enjoy. You never get boring for anything. Everything is a challenge and each project is something different. And you finish the project and you are taking something with you, something that you have learned. So that is why I like it about technology.
On a day-to-day basis, Carmen, what is it that you do in your role?
Depends on my project, and I do many things. But I would say my part, always is to build the teams, and that is an important thing. And of course, you have deliverables, things you have to achieve. But to achieve that, you need to build a team, and that is a challenge working remotely and people in different locations, and also people coming from different backgrounds and different discipline, because that means that they have different language. So I am the person that put everything in common, get everybody to work together, and that is always my daily work. So I have to be conscious all the time about that I have a team. I don't have a person. I don't have a specialist. I have a team that has to perform as a team. And that is my daily job. And for sure, I am working in Agile. So it means that there are deficiencies in my team that maybe I have the technical skills and I can do myself. So if a developer needs something with R or with Python and I know how to do it, I help that developer because he needs help. And we are a team. So I do a little of everything, basically. And that is also something really attractive about my job.
And Delphine, as another manager, what's your day-to-day like?
Oh, I totally agree with Carmen. It's different every day, but I would say that the core thing that I do every day is having discussion with my client and take time with them to really understand their needs, see how we can apply technology and how leverage technology to make their ambition and their idea real and I also do it in an agile way, because I would say it push for more ideation and it bring I would say more creativity into the design of new solution, and basically it's all I do. I also manage a team, so that's another important things. And when you work in emerging technologies, you really have to motivate your teams, because sometimes the tech part, like in blockchain, could be really tricky and complex and difficult. And I've been in quite complex project where my developers spend 2 weeks and trying to fix one little bug. So you really need to motivate your teams. But that's interesting, because in technology you work with really diverse people. Your team is not only composed of I would say traditional consultants. You work with developer. You work with agilists. You work with some experts, etc. So it's basically my day-to-day work.
So Killian, how is what you do a little bit different on a day-to-day as a director within EY?
Yeah, so I suppose it's probably a little bit different in that there's kind of two hats you're wearing. So there's the one of client engagement, which is kind of your day-to-day working with the project team to deliver the client's milestones, requirements, and managing that relationship with the client. And then on the other hand, then it's around a lot of the practice management and practice development type of work. So for example, what's our pipeline? Who are we engaged with? What collateral are we developing? What new solutions are we bringing to market? How are we bringing the latest and greatest thinking to the market as well from our global experts and the insights that we've developed from different projects? So they're probably the two primary focus points, Peter.
And what are some of the aspects of your role that people wouldn't necessarily associate with EY?
Yeah, so I suppose maybe the practice management piece, but I suppose what we probably would be more inclined to see or not see or understand is just the depth of capability and the depth of knowledge we have in the firm as a professional services organization, and actually bringing those together for our client, not just going in to solve a problem to get from A to B, but actually it's thinking about that in context and what services, what is going to be required to be able to put that into place. And that was one thing that shocked me, the level of capability within the firm when I joined. As I say, I came from a Big Four, and I was really impressed by the level of depth of knowledge and almost also product development within EY, with the capabilities that are being deployed and the global initiatives that are in place. If I think of my own world, in the blockchain space, we've developed EY Ops Chain, and then more specifically to cell and gene therapy, we've developed the Pointellis platform. And these are fantastic global pieces that we've developed in many instances with our customers and our clients. We can actually take to market and develop out. And that is, as I say, probably a big, big differentiator for us, that level of product capability and knowledge, and not just the superficial.
And is some of that driven by our WaveSpace facility in the Dublin office?
Yeah, so I suppose the WaveSpace is brilliant in that it brings all of it together. It brings those new ideas, it brings the creativity, it brings the innovation, but it sets you on a path to be able to drive that forward by realizing, I suppose, your ambition in the WaveSpace room on the day itself, but also plotting out that course of, right, what do we want to focus on? Where do we need to focus? Where do we need to go? How do we drive on from here? And what are those immediate next best actions to be able to take us forward? It's a fantastic facility, and I know that one of the technologies we use in there is Mural. And seeing the murals from the different sector leads that we have across the world is just brings it to life. I can think of one really recent client in the agri-food space who came in. We had a mural presentation from the global agri-food lead, Rob Dongoski, and just the ability of his storytelling to be able to bring industry to light, those global trends, and really to elevate us and the thinking in the room that day was just phenomenal. So yeah, absolutely, it's a brilliant tool.
And Carmine, what aspects of EY would people not expect that you do that actually are done by yourself and others?
Well, I suppose when the people think about EY, they think about consultants. So they expected you to have bring the methodology and bring ideas. But I am in the delivery space. So when I finish my project, I leave an application that is working. I leave an IT service that is working and move a business as usual. So it's something tangible that is there in the organization. And the contribution to my teams is usually I bring the experience from project in different organizations and different sectors. So I bring to the organization an experience that they don't have in-house. They have the experience about the technician, but they don't have the experience about how they is doing it in another areas, in another sectors. But at the same time, I am in the execution part. So I deliver things that are working. It's not only consultation. And then you leave to the organization with a new methodology also to perform for the future. So that is what I bring to the organizations. And the people expected you just bring ideas or vision about the future, but I am delivering. That is the main difference.
Thanks, Carmine. And what about yourself, Delphine?
Yeah, I would say the network. And about network, I would refer to our partners, like big partners that help us to deliver huge transformation program like Microsoft, IBM, and also at EY level, our internal network and how we are able to gather a large set of competency, not only on advisory, but being able to combine audit, insurance people with advisory people, with tax and lawyers people. That's really important. I would say 2 weeks ago, we just sent a proposal gathering people across five countries: UK, Ireland, France, Norway, and I think so it's only 4. And we had people from tax or lawyers. We had people from tech, blockchain, and we had people from advisory France, from advisory Ireland, and all that people combined succeed to deliver a proposal in 1 month, and it was really appreciated by the client at the end. So I'm always surprised on how we can combine competency within EY to always find the best answer to our client, and how we are all well connected. It's I would say, I think, quite rare in such big firm.
And what do you enjoy most about your role, Delphine?
About my role, I would say 2 things. Being able to work in a diverse team, it's really important for me. To work with different people from different backgrounds, because it's something priceless, I would say, really priceless, because I learn every day. And the second thing is about innovation. I had the opportunity to work with fintechs, to work with big tech, because EY is so well connected with all its partners. So I really enjoyed. I would say in France, I was in charge of all the relation with fintechs in France, and it helped us to create so many jobs with clients in a different way, and it make a real differentiators compared to our main competitors.
Killian, what about yourself? What do you enjoy most about your role?
For me, it's probably the ability to bring ideas to market, to have the time to think about them, to be able to bring them to market, as I say, but not only bring them to market, but actually have the confidence to know that we can deliver on them. That's probably the big thing, that the team behind you or the team supporting you has the knowledge, the expertise, and the capability to deliver it. So that's probably the differentiator for me, or the big piece for me. I think the other thing is just the variety of people and the variety of characters you get to meet on a day-to-day basis. So I think that's both on the client side plus within the organization itself.
And finally, Carmen.
Well, I think they already have said the majority of the thing. I would say that people create a space of collaboration where it's quite easy to nurture new ideas and bring new creativity of the ideas. So the interaction of the people for sure is the best of our work. But I would say also that you are exposed to different sectors and different industries, and that gives you different perspectives about what is going on in technology, how the technology needs to be adapted or cannot be. It's not like a package or an application. Each application is different, depends on the organization is using and how they read it and interpret the applications or the software or the technology. I would say that is really, really attractive. You never can think, oh, I know everything about this, For sure, the different is something always different in the project, and that is fantastic.
Carmen, when you think about your career, and you talked earlier on about delivery and things that you've delivered, what's the most exciting thing that you've delivered in your tech consulting career?
Well, I would say it is the project that I am working at the moment. I am doing a design of the digital deployment of a pharmaceutical plant for Singapore. So that has everything. So first it has the different resources or type of resources. I have an automation team, I have a network team, I have a manufacturing team, and I have the ERP that bring all the application together with all the modules, the planning, the manufacturing, everything. So that is completely really a rich project, but also it's a project that has to last 2 years because it's a big project. So that gives you have to extend your skills to be sure all the things we were talking about, the motivation, the pay attention to the details, the planning, everything is in place to be successful. So I'm really, really excited about that project. It's fantastic. And I think it has been a progression from the beginning of the project that were more short project, different budget, different teams, to this one that is just 2 years has been a fantastic progression for me from the professional point of view.
And what about yourself, Delphine? What you've delivered?
It was a really interesting project I did for a European bank. So we built a new kind of lending platform for emerging countries like Brazil. And to do so, we decided to use data from social media like Facebook or Gmail, etc. And I was a little bit skeptic at the beginning of the project because I didn't believe at that time that collecting and analyzing data from social media would really help to understand and assess people's solvency. But at the end of the experimentation, we compared the results of the lending platform with a more traditional platform, and we just discovered that the results were equal, meaning that the data you provide on digital platform really help a lot of actors like bank to understand who you are and how you behave. And we just demonstrated with real data, and we tested on 1 million people in Brazil, so it was quite comprehensive, and it was really amazing. So now I'm really careful on what I put online, because I knew that in a close future it could really be used by my bank or my insurance to assess if I'm a good person or not. It was really interesting.
Delphine, I know you're a good person. I don't need data to tell me that. Killian, what about yourself?
I suppose probably the most rewarding and fulfilling projects that I've been doing have been this year, across my career in relation to the pandemic response. As you know, the firm here has done Trojan work, working with different government departments, different organisations. And I suppose whilst we've been trying to develop the systems to support the health, by virtue of the health impacts, that has obviously economic impact for our country. And as I say, I think that's probably the most rewarding and probably most likely or most best aligned to, the organisation mantra of creating that better working world or building a better working world. I think that for me is probably the most rewarding that I've done to date in my career.
I know you've only been here a short time, Killian, but in what ways do you feel that you've developed your career since you joined EY?
Oh, there's no doubt about it. Just in terms of the level of exposure that you get to senior clients, I didn't feel that in my previous firm. Not because of my level, because the firm just didn't have the same level of contacts. They weren't as ingrained, as embedded, and as trusted as our clients within EY. And I think that ability for us to pick up the phone, talk to a CIO, CTO, whoever it is, that for me has just brought my career to the next level, and I'm delighted to have made the move.
And that's incredible for someone at your level and in such a short period of time to
Absolutely.
be with EY.
Yeah.
And Carmen, what about yourself?
Well, from the point of view of skill, I got new skills. I did a project for data analytics as well, of visualization for the financial department, for the metrics of the financial department of the resources. So that was something that I didn't have before, and I developed here. But I would say that my career, as I mentioned, the project I did, it was a bigger project, managing bigger teams and managing bigger budget as well. So that was also fantastic. And also I have been exposed to the engagement in self, the management of engagement and the clients in self directly. So that was really good for me too.
Thanks, Irene. And finally, Delphine, yourself?
For me, I think the most value at EY is mentoring. I had a lot of mentors at EY who always helped me to build my career. And I had mentors from different levels, from partners to senior manager. And I would say it's really easy at EY to have a quick chat with your superior, with partners. They are really accessible when you need career advice. So it's really easy. And the second important thing I would say is training. In particular at FSO level, we before the pandemic we used to have training weeks in Netherlands, and it was really interesting to network and know all your peers in different countries. So when you have a question, you could ask them and ask for feedbacks, and just look if you have if another team in another countries has made the same difficulties as you. So it's a really good experience. So to sum up, I would say people in this firm are really important.
I suppose this is my last question for all of you, and I'll start with Delphine. And it's probably the most important question. What's the key piece of advice for anyone considering a career in tech consulting at EY?
I would say be agile and never give up, because sometimes it could be difficult, and because the technology could be difficult, because the client ask is unclear, but never give up, because it's going to be so interesting. You are going to meet so different people that it will be really, really interesting for you.
Carmen?
Well, I would say if you have the attitude to continue learning all your time and develop your career, and then you have the motivation to contribute the teams and do the performance or maximize the performance of your team, this is a space for you. You have fantastic opportunity that they are going to make you involved with, and it is you can develop further wherever is the point you are in your career at this stage.
Finally, Killian.
Yeah, so I'd absolutely echo Delphine and Carmen in terms of resilience, performance, and hard work. But I'd also say have fun. Like, this is a great job, and I enjoy it every day, and I look forward to it every day. So I would really say just enjoy it, embrace it, and to that point, just if a project doesn't sound like it might immediately be you, just go for it. Throw yourself in, because you'll learn a hell of a lot along the way, and you'll just improve yourself as an all-rounder and your contribution. So just have fun and embrace it.
It's wonderful for me as people lead for consulting, hearing certain words there that were just echoed over and over again: innovation, developing something that's tangible, your own personal development. And I suppose the key one that sticks out is people. I don't know how many times people have mentioned the great people to work with, the time that they give you, how they help you grow, how they help you develop, etc., etc., etc. On that note, look, thanks so much, Delphine, Carmine, Killian, for chatting to us today. And thank you for you, the listeners, for tuning into the EY Experience podcast. We all really enjoyed this episode. If you're interested in growing your tech consulting career with us, make sure to search EY Experience to hire and apply to join us. And don't forget to follow us for subscriptions to whenever you listen to the podcast to hear for the latest episodes. Thanks for listening, everybody. It's been an absolute pleasure talking to all three of you today.
The EY Experience podcast is recorded as part of the EY Ireland Podcast Network.